Day 43. So what's in the news today? Kim Jong Un might as well be in space because no one knows where he's at except the people around him and the Chinese, of course. And if they say anything, I wouldn't trust the Chinese for anything. The government, not the people. Okay, let's be adult here. All right? Jeez. Can't do anything without some people getting all, you meant no China. No, just a Chinese Communist Party. How about that? Second news, let's see. The country that I'm living in right now, they're implementing a very extremely slow process of opening things up. I think that's really about it. They haven't done anything yet. Now, what they've said earlier is that things can change and they could revert back to the old ways. The old ways are still right now, considering whatever the old ways that was. Not the older ways. You get what I'm pointing at here. Other than that, let's see. Anything else? No, just a normal, quiet day 43, pent up in the penthouse. Kidding. This ain't no penthouse. Yeah. Anyways, going back to Kim Jong Un, I just find it funny now is that you watch it now. The next successor in line is the sister of Kim Jong Un. Don't necessarily remember her name. It doesn't really matter. I think she has a very violent disposition. I mean, you have to be if you held on power, or the family's held on power for the last, oh my God, 60 years, 60, 70 years, something like that. So definitely she's got to have, I guess it runs in the family, if you will. It has to. I mean, she's got to, because there's probably a lot of vultures waiting around, especially in the military, maybe in the political side of North Korea, which is kind of a strange thing to say, even though it's a one-party system. And even though they have a parliamentary body, if you will, I mean, they're basically in name only. They don't really do anything. I mean, if they did something and the Kim Jong Un didn't like it, or now probably his sister, they would die in a most horrendous way. Like one of Kim Jong Un's favorite ways to get rid of somebody was not killing his half brother with a couple of honeypots with some violent chemicals, but put him out in the field and have artillery train in on him with like a 80 millimeter round or something like that, and then there's nothing left of him. Or another way they stop people from doing things. If you run afoul of the government, they punish the next 3 generations. So not only do you get punished, put in jail, and you never get out and you die essentially of starvation, your son or daughter gets in there, dies pretty much of starvation. And if they have a kid, they get put in. And after the 4th generation, I think it's fine. That's how they do business. That is the modus operandi for North Korea. Not a cool place to be if you're looking to have a beer belly, or want basic medical care, basic food staples. Yeah, you don't get that there unless you're part of the elite, and then you're pretty good. But then if one of the party members die, especially the supreme leader, their dear leader, you've got to cry yourself for 3 days. I don't see how it's possible, but you do, because it's all about control. And a lot of people kind of say like, well, the United States is close to communism. They want control. They do. But unlike North Korea, the United States has one key factor in stopping any sort of government overreach, if you will. Well, that's the First Amendment. What do you think I was going to say, the second? I was. The First Amendment's first. We have freedom of the press, freedom of redressing the government for grievances, freedom of assembly, religion, etc. There you go. The Second Amendment is even more straight to the point. And that's what bothers some states like California, New York, Illinois, Oregon, Washington, Colorado, where gun ownership is in itself freedom. And it keeps the government in check. I know people, if you're a Congressman Swalwell, says, "Oh, what are you going to stamp to the government? We've got nukes." Really? You're going to nuke yourself because of a few, rough and tumble people who are revolting against the government? That's what you're going to do? Really? And even then, you're like, what, are you going to drop a couple cruise missiles on them? Really? You're just going to piss more people off. Dumbass. But that's just a slight point here. We're not anywhere near China or North Korea. But it doesn't take very long. I want to say what did Reagan say this? I can't remember what it was, but it's like one generation all it would take, or even less, to have all our freedoms that we have now just go away. And there are people in the government who want that to happen. Most of them are on the left, some of them are on the right, but most of them are on the left. And that's why I don't trust anybody with a D next to their name, let alone an R. Can't trust them either. You keep an eye on them extremely. Like they always say, you keep your friends close, but your enemies closer, or something like that. Whatever. I hate these sayings. I was on this, what was it? It was some YouTube video about some drama, and I was talking about Animal Farm. I think it was about Alinity. That's what it was. Where before she purposely banned herself for showing some nip slippage. She's done some crazy shinola in the past, spitting vodka in her cat's face, tossing the cat around like a rag doll, etc., etc. There's normal stuff. Nothing ever happens to her because Twitch and its mod team are a bunch of simps. It is what it is. And I was basically saying that for all intents and purposes, that everyone is equal on Twitch, except some people are more equal than others, and someone didn't understand that. And so I think I had to go back and forth with this guy to explain, it's not about communism, but it's about some people in society, if you will, are more equal than you. Now, everyone's equal under the law. Technically, not really. If you got money, you can pretty much buy yourself out of anything. Not really. Harvey Weinstein, for one. But the tables turned on him, and he was a dirtbag. Always a dirtbag. But meaning that in YouTube creators and Twitch creators, etc., there are some people out there that have got a large following, and they're more equal than the small following I have, or the small creator presence I have. I've only got 121 as of playing of this video. So again, in that instance, in all of society, if you will, and it doesn't really matter, because a lot of people say, well, if we become socialist, everyone's equal. Not really. If you're part of the government, if you look at North Korea, everyone is quote unquote equal. But more people than not are less equal than the people who are the party elite, friends, family, etc., who can get access and get food in North Korea. Much like here in the United States, where everyone's equal under the law. Technically, it wasn't always like that. It should have been, but it wasn't. But now, even in this day and age right now, it's a small inconsequential thing to even talk about. Oh, there's a bunch of YouTube creators and Twitch, I think who cares? Well, some people care. And I guess it struck a nerve with a lot of people because this person, Alinity, was using her looks, which is perfectly fine until you piss off enough people and they start going, you know what? Yeah, I could take it only so much. You can get away with all this crap because there's a lot of people who do much less than her who've been banned and had their accounts removed on such places as YouTube and especially Twitch. So it does sort of affect some people. They just don't. I think a lot of times when people look at it, people do not like, how you say, being wronged, if you will. They don't like people having special rights over you, even though you're equal. But that is what it is. I guess that's what's going through my mind when I was thinking about this and North Korea and whatever. But that is day 43. We'll put this in the can. Let's see you on day Magnum 44.